Hi friends, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter and another schedule change. What I decided to do for you today is a bit of a refresh. I have 10 crime drama films here for you to check out. These are all recommendations. And I know I was supposed to do the Arrow horror collection video today, but I decided we've been just doing collection after collection after collection video, and I wanted to give you something different. And I am going to do the Arrow collection video, but I'm going to do the entire Arrow collection video because I realize there's a lot of films put out by Arrow that are not horror, but they're really good, and I want to share them with you. Also, it'll be a much shorter video than what the horror collection was. It'll probably be one video. I'll do that later in the month of November, but I am going to do it, so no worries. You'll still get the collection video. Just, I wanted to do something because we're moving out of spooky season. We're moving into, tomorrow's Halloween. We're moving into November, where people are interested in watching different things. We're interested in maybe some noir films, crime, drama, mystery, thrillers. Criterion sale may be coming up, so people are interested in Criterion. So I figured we would kick it off with some crime drama recommendations. These are 10 awesome films, and I'm going to keep my commentary very brief and spoiler free because I want you guys to watch these films. They're so, so good. The first one is from 2013. It stars James McAvoy, and it is called Filth. And he plays a police officer, and I believe it takes place in the UK. And he's estranged from his wife, and he is trying to figure out how to get back in her good graces. But he is not a good guy. He is he uses drugs. He's an alcoholic. He's very unscrupulous with his job. He has bipolar disorder, and he may or may not be doing what he's supposed to do to manage his disorder. He may or may not be taking his medication. And he finds out that there's this promotion available at work, and he will stop at nothing to get that promotion. He has no bottom. This is a guy with no more, his moral compass is non-existent, if you will, but he will stop at nothing, including trying to turn his co-workers against each other in any way he can think of. But this is such a great film. It is a dark, I would say a darkly comedic crime drama. So there are some comedic moments, dark comedy moments, but a crime drama as well. And it is so well written and so well acted. Like I said, James McAvoy is fantastic in this. And it's from the creator of Trainspotting, which I thought was a pretty well done film too. So, but this is a banger. If you haven't seen this one, definitely put it high on your list because you will not be disappointed. And if you liked him in Split, you're going to love him in this because I think he maybe is even better in this than he was in Split, which is pretty tough to do because he was great in Split. Now this next one I talked about before, but it's been a while. So if you weren't around the channel then, here it is. It stars Mads Mikkelsen, who always brings his A game to every movie he's in. This one is called Riders of Justice, and it is in Danish with English subtitles. And basically what we have is he is a husband and a father and a soldier, and he is deployed. So his wife and daughter are alone, and they decide to take a public train. They're going somewhere and they take a public train. An accident occurs and his wife is killed and his young daughter is left alone, so he has to come home to care for his daughter. And when he comes home, he's talking with some friends, and it is brought to his attention that maybe that accident wasn't quite an accident, and it could have been a situation of his wife and daughter being in the wrong place at the wrong time. However, now his friends kind of talk him into, let's find out who did it, what was going on, and maybe hatch a revenge plan. But that's all I'm going to say about it. It's definitely a crime drama. It also has some darkly comedic moments, but they fit. The way they put them in and the way they do it, it fits. But very, very good movie. And like I said, Mads Mikkelsen, he brings his A game. He's on it. He's so good. So if you haven't seen Riders of Justice, definitely put it high on your list to check out. Now this next one, this is based on real events. It says it's inspired by true events, and it took place in the 1920s, and it is called Sweet Country. I don't ever hear anyone talk about this. Now we have this gentleman here who's an Aboriginal farmhand. This is an Australian film, and he works for a white man, a white farmer, and the farmer by all intents and purposes is good to him. Now the farmer has a friend who's also a farmer, and he says, hey, can I borrow your guy to do some, an extra hand around my farm? And he lets him go work for the guy for a bit, and something happens, and in self-defense, the Aboriginal farmhand kills the white man. shoots the white man, and now he's on the run for his life because he is being hunted. And there's not much I can say about it. All I can say is just watch this. It is a straight up crime drama. It is shocking and appalling to see how these people, the Aboriginal people, were treated, and I can't say anything more about it except just watch it. It is so good, so moving. It had me on the edge of my seat the whole time, and I just think this is a really important and fantastic and well done movie. Here's the cover if you want to check it out. But yeah, if you haven't seen Sweet Country, definitely do your homework and find a way to watch it, because it's very, very good. And it's important to see movies like that. This next one is also based on a true story. It's based on true crimes that took place in it's a Hungarian film. So these are crimes that took place in a small town in Hungary in the 1960s. There was a serial killer, and these women were being killed, and all the police force wanted to do was find someone to put in jail so they could say they found the person responsible for the crimes. They weren't necessarily concerned that the person fit the profile or that they realistically could have done the crimes. And there's a tagline up here. It says, "There are no serial killers in this country. Is that clear?" And when you hear that line said in the movie, you will understand why, and you'll understand the importance of why it's up here. But there is one detective, when they arrest the guy they suspect could have done the crimes, there's one detective who is not really convinced that they have the right person in jail. And he continues on with an investigation because he wants to find the killer. If there is still a serial killer out there, he wants to find that person. And we follow along to see, do they have the right person? Did they just throw the first person that they suspected in jail? So Strangled it's an excellent film, and I highly, highly recommend it. This one was put out by, I'm not sure, it says Montage Pictures, but I'm sure you can readily find this one online. I don't know if it's streaming or not, but you could probably find a physical copy online. But Strangled, really, really good film. And this one I have talked about before. It is a film from Park Chan-wook. Do not watch the remake. Watch the original. Old Boy is the film. Now, I have spoken about this before. It's a fantastic film. We have a guy who goes out one night. He's drinking. He's getting drunk. And he passes out. And when he wakes up, he is in a room. And it's a makeshift prison. And he is held in that room for 15 years. He has no idea what happened. He has no idea why he's there. He doesn't know who's holding him. He doesn't know when he's getting out, why he knows nothing. All he knows is he was out drinking, passed out, woke up in this room, and time is going by. 15 years later, he is let out. He is given a cell phone, and he's told he has 5 days to do his own investigation and figure out why he was held, who put him there, and what caused him to be the person who was held for the last 15 years. And that's all I'm going to say about it. This is a fantastic, fantastic film. It is so well done, so well written, so well acted, and it has a fantastic ending that will shock you. It's so, so good. But like I said, do not watch the remake. Watch the original one, and you will not be disappointed at all. I'm trying to see. Yeah, this is a Korean one, so it's Korean, in Korean with English subtitles. But don't let that dissuade you from watching it. Definitely watch Old Boy. It's a great one. Now this one, we just talked about this one on the live stream over on Cinema Dave Media's channel, the Saturday Live that we do every single week. This is a favorite of ours. It's a Billy Wilder film. It is called Sunset Boulevard. And this one, I call this one a genre jumper because it has some crime elements, it has some dramatic elements, it has some film noir elements, and it also has some very dark comedy elements. But I put it in this pile because it's a fantastic watch for this time of the year, any time of the year for me, but specifically this time of the year, because it definitely bridges that gap between horror and crime, mystery, drama, thriller. Really, really good stuff. It starts out, we see this guy, he's floating in a pool, and all of a sudden we realize we have a dead guy narrating this story. And he starts to tell us the story of how he ended up in this pool. And Gloria Swanson does a fantastic job. She plays a woman called Norma Desmond, she was a big star in Hollywood, a silent film star. And at some point, they start to kind of push her to the side and say, you know what, you're too old for these roles. We don't want you anymore. So our guy who's in the pool, he comes upon this house that's a dilapidated, it's in disrepair. He doesn't even know if anyone lives there. His car's broken down. He asks for help, and he meets Norma Desmond, and they kind of hatch this plan for him to work with her to write her a new film to star in, because she says, you know what, if they're not going to write films for me, I'm going to write one for myself. And that's all I'm going to say. It's definitely got Fatal Attraction elements. It's definitely got these obsessive tendencies. It's very funny in parts. It's campy. It's dark. It's got noir elements. It has everything. And really, when you put it all together, it's just one big good time. It is fantastic. I could watch that film anytime. It really reminds me of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. It has that same dark, campy feeling, but, you know, it has those creepy, darker, dramatic elements as well. Now, this is a film from Christopher Nolan. It stars Guy Pearce, and it's called Memento. And this is great, too. We have our main guy, played by Guy Pearce, and he is a man who has no short-term memory. He finds out things and he instantly forgets them. And the situation that he's in is that his wife has been murdered, but he doesn't know what happened. He doesn't know how, why, who, where, when. He doesn't know anything because he can't remember anything. So basically, we have the typical Christopher Nolan thing. He likes to, if you know his films, you know that he likes to play with time. And we have two storylines running, and one of them is going forward, and one of them is flashback. So one of them is going back, and each time we do a flashback, we get more and more information, and more things become clear about how this man ended up in this situation and what happened. And he does things like he writes things down, he writes notes to himself so that when he forgets things, he can kind of go back and try to remind himself of what he is trying to figure out. And that's all I'm going to say. This at times can feel a little bit confusing, but if you understand Christopher Nolan, this is definitely not his most confusing film, but this is a very rewarding watch. And I think the rewatchability on this one is very, very high, because every time you watch it, you're going to figure out something new and you're going to figure it out faster. It's very, very good. Definitely a crime drama. And I really think this is fantastic. So Memento would be the next one on my list for you to check out. And this one I would say is a straight up noir. It's a film noir, but it's really, really good. It stars Orson Welles and Janet Leigh and Charlton Heston in Touch of Evil. And this one was great. And we have a crime very early on. There is an explosion that happens on the border of the United States and Mexico. So it's right on the border. And there is a very important person who is killed in the explosion in the car. And Orson Welles is a very highly regarded detective in the town that he works in the United States. And he is put on the case to figure out what happened, why this man was killed, who's responsible for it. And I believe this was, if it wasn't Orson Welles' last film, it was very close to his last film, but he's fantastic in this. And like I said, he is this detective that is just held up on the highest pedestal, and everybody believes everything he says, and like whatever he says goes, and people just, they worship him. And there is the guy, Charlton Heston is, he plays the Mexican police officer who is married to Janet Leigh. And he is a little more grounded. He's like, listen, we have to do this, and we have to do this the right way. We have to figure out, you know, why this happened, who did it, who's responsible. And Orson Welles' character, he's just like, listen, let's just find somebody, no matter what it takes, and they're the ones. And if I say that they're the ones, they're the ones. It doesn't matter what you think about the evidence. And it's really interesting. It's a cat and mouse game, and like I said, very much a noir, and it's just so good. It's so well done, so well written. The acting is top notch, and there is not a dull moment in this film. If you've seen A Touch of Evil, you already know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out, because it is well worth watching. And I was blown away by all the performances in this. I thought everybody was great, and things come into question, like, you know, police ethics and things like that, and ethical practices when they're doing, you know, investigations and things like that. Everybody is questioned. So definitely give Touch of Evil a look and check that one out. Now, these last two are Criterion, so if you don't pick them up now, maybe you want to look at them for the hopefully upcoming November sale. The first one is, I think they're both French. Yes, they're both French. The first one is from 1995. It's 97 minutes in black and white, and in French it is, and my Spine friends, it is Spine number 381. It is called La Haine. And this is a fantastic film. It is very gritty. It's a crime drama, very gritty. It's very much a street film. We have these three guys. They've been friends for a long time, and they live in the area that they call the ghetto. Now, there have been riots. The night before, there were riots. And there was a gentleman who ended up hospitalized because he was beaten so badly by the police. And during these riots, one of the police officers lost his gun. And we know that someone has the gun, but we don't know who has the gun, how they got it, and what they plan to do with it. And everyone is hanging in the balance to see also if the kid who is in the hospital from the night before, if he's going to live or if he's going to die. And everybody is on the edge of their seat, and tensions are running high because in this town, in this little ghetto area, everybody believes that they think the police are against them, and they think that if something happens to this kid and he doesn't make it, that somebody's going to pay for what happened. And that's all I'm going to say about it. But this is a really great film, and it's an interesting look at the dynamics between these types of people in these neighborhoods that live in these neighborhoods where they feel that maybe the police use unethical practices, maybe they don't, but there are instances where they have to control these crowds, and there's no way that the police can control what's going on around them. And these kids are rising up against it because they are fed up with how they're being treated, and it's just a whole big mess. But it's really, really good. It's very interesting, and like I said, it's only 97 minutes, so it's a quick watch time, but really well worth it. And here's the cover. Lahane is really an excellent film, so if you haven't seen it, definitely look it up and maybe put it on your list for the sale. Now, this one is great. This one, a lot of people talk about. This is called Diabolique. It's spine number 35. It's from 1955. It's 117 minutes in black and white and in French. And right in the beginning of the film, they say not to be the person, or maybe it's the end of the film. It's either the beginning or the end, but they have a screen that comes up and they say, do not be the person who spoils the film. So don't spoil the film if you know the ending. But we have this guy he's running a boys' boarding school, and they describe him in the movie as sadistic. He also is at the school and living at the school with both his wife and his mistress. And they both put up with him. They're both very much aware of each other and the situation. And they get together and hatch this plan to try and get rid of him. And they think they've gotten rid of him, but then there are certain signs that start to appear that maybe things didn't go as they planned. And that's all I'm going to say, because the film told me that's all I'm allowed to say. All I can say is this is a fantastic film, and if you haven't seen it, definitely put Diabolique on your list of films to check out for the upcoming sale, because it is well worth the watch. And here it is. That's how you spell it if you want to know. But yeah, this is a fantastic one, and I know a lot of people love this one. And even once you know what happened, there is rewatchability here. This is one that I could watch over and over again, even though I know what happens. It's so good. It's just so well done, and it's very interesting. So another crime drama. So there you have it, 10 crime drama films that you can watch from to help you go from October to November and kind of bridge that gap between horror and everything else. And I hope you enjoyed this little refresh and this little change of pace that I decided to do. I hope I hope it didn't disappoint anyone that I moved the collection video to another time during November. But we will get to it, I promise. I want to thank you guys, as always, for watching and being here. I appreciate every single one of you. If you enjoy content like this, consider subscribing, hit the bell notification so you know when I upload again. Pickle and I are going to be here tomorrow with her costume reveal, and I am also going to do just a quick couple minutes and let you know what we're going to do going forward for November, because I have a lot of plans for November. But that's going to do it for me today. So again, thank you, and for now, that's a wrap.